All right. Hola a todos. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Bien? ¿Mal? ¿Así, así? Yo estoy así, así. Anyways, today I'm going to review with you guys how to tell time in Spanish. So, with all of these videos that I've done so far, we have reviewed most everything that we learned in Unit 1. So we learned how to do our alphabet. We learned how to have greeting conversations. We learned how, we learned our subject pronouns. We learned how to conjugate the verb ser. We learned how to count from 0 to 30, but I showed you guys how to count all the way up to 100. And the last thing that was in Unit 1 was telling time. So if you were a little shaky with time before, this is going to be a really good review lesson for you. Or if you had kind of tuned out when I was teaching it, now you can learn it and you can rewind the video as many times as you need to. Anyways, how are you guys doing? I miss you so much. I'm teaching you from a basement in Gaylord. I would much rather be in front of you in a classroom, but such is the world that we are in right now. So once you get through this video, if you still have questions, something isn't making sense, just email me or text me, let me know. We can set up a call where I can go through it one-on-one with you. I got nothing but time, folks. So anyways, with time, the big question that we learned how to ask and answer with this was ¿Qué hora es? Which means, what hour is it? What time is it? So good thing is, super uncomfortable. Hopefully you can still see me. Good thing is, when you're telling time and it's just an hour, there's no minutes. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Really easy. You have to remember, for 1 o'clock, we use es la una. Every other hour, we're gonna change and we're gonna use son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro. The reason that you're seeing the shift in the verb that we're using is ser. The reason that you're seeing the shift from es to son is because, remember, we're saying it is 1 o'clock, it is 2 o'clock. That it is the hour. So 1 o'clock, there's 1 hour, it's singular. And we're conjugating it for it singular, which is es. For the rest of the hours, there's more than 1 hour. So now we're conjugating it for an it, but it's plural. So that's why you're seeing that shift. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around the clock, starting with 12, and you can see how the hours sound. So, son las 12, es la una, son las dos, son las tres, son las cuatro, son las cinco, son las seis, son las siete, son las ocho, son las nueve, son las 10, son las 11, and back up to son las 12. Now, we know that there are two 12 o'clocks. There's 12 o'clock a.m., which is midnight. There's 12 o'clock p.m., which is noon. In Spanish, they don't use like a.m., p.m. to tell you which one is which. They actually use time of day phrases. So, a.m., we have two phrases. We have de la madrugada and de la mañana. De la madrugada is like for the really early morning hours, like the time that you would be sleeping, and if somebody called you, it would startle you because it's so early in the morning. De la mañana, that's just for normal morning time. For PM, we have two phrases. We have de la tarde in the afternoon, de la noche in the evening or at night. So if it was 12 o'clock p.m., we could say son las 12 de la tarde. If it was 12 o'clock a.m., son las 12 de la madrugada. But just as there is in English, I could say it's 12 o'clock a.m., or I could say it is midnight. So it is midnight would be es la media noche. It is the middle of the night. If it was noon, it would be es el mediodía, which means it is the middle of the day. So when it's just the hour, no minutes, biggest thing is you have to remember to use es la with 1 o'clock. All the other hours son las, okay? Then remember to put one of your time of day phrases with it to tell, is it 1 o'clock a.m., 1 o'clock p.m. Now, hold on, I need some coffee. Anyways, okay. So what happens when it's not just 1 o'clock on the dot, it's 1:05 or 1:10? When we're talking about adding minutes to the hour, we have to think about our clock being split right down the middle, okay? There is a good side and there is a dark side. The good side is really easy, okay? You just have to say the hour, and then we're going to use this word, e, which means and. So we're going to use the word e, and we're going to say hour and minutes. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 o'clock, and I'm going to show you as the minute hand moves around how that changes. So 1 o'clock es la una, and if you wanted to say like it's 1 o'clock on the dot or exactly, you could add to it en punto, which means it's 1 o'clock exactly on the dot. Es la una en punto. Es la una y cinco. It's 1 o'clock and 5 minutes. Es la una y 10. Es la una y 15. Or you could actually say es la una y cuarto. Cuarto means quarter, so that's kind of like saying it's a quarter after. So es la una y cuarto. Es la una y 20. Es la una y 25. Es la una y 30. Or you could say es la una y media. And that means like our half. It's half past. So es la una y media. So when it's on this side of the clock, your minute hand, the minute hand is the longer hand on the clock. It doesn't matter where the hour hand is, okay? The hour hand has nothing to do with good or bad side, only the long minute hand. If the long minute hand is on this side of the clock, this is how you tell time, hour and minutes. Once the minute hand crosses over, so once it's like es la una y media, 1:30, okay? Once it crosses over, so from minutes 31 to 59, your minute hand, if it's on this side of the clock, then we do it differently, okay? We have two things that we need to do. First thing is we have to round up to the next hour. Then we have to take minutes from that hour, okay? So if it was 1:55, so my minute hand would be pointing here. First thing I need to do, I'm on the dark side, so I know that I first thing have to round up to the next hour. So if it's 1:55, the next hour would be 2 o'clock. Son las dos. Then I have to take minutes away. So if my minute hand is pointing here, I have 5 minutes until I get to the next hour. So I'd be taking 5 minutes away. So son las dos menos cinco. What you're saying in English is it is 2 o'clock minus 5 minutes, which would be 1:55. If it was 1:50, then I would have 10 minutes till the next hour. So then it would be son las dos menos 10. Son las dos menos 15. Or, just like you did on this side, you could say son las dos menos cuarto. And that would be like saying it's 2 o'clock minus a quarter. Son las dos menos 20, because there's 20 minutes till the next hour. Son las dos menos 25, because there's 25 minutes till the next hour. So if it's on the dark side, if the minute hand is on this dark side, first thing you have to do is round up to the next hour. What would the next hour be? Then how many minutes will it take us to get to that next hour? Okay, and then you say hour minus minutes, however many minutes. Okay, so I want you to try a couple on your own. First one I want you to try is, and they're gonna be on the good side and the bad side. I'll give you a couple. First one I want you to try is 2:10. So how would you say it is 2:10? You should have had son las dos y 10. It's 2 o'clock and 10 minutes. Okay, what about 9:55? So your minute hand would be pointing here. We're on the dark side. So first you have to round up to the next hour. Then how many minutes would it be until we get to that hour? Okay, go ahead and try that one on your own. 9:55. Okay, so you should have had, we're on this side of the clock, we're on the dark side. First thing we have to do is round up to the next hour. So it would have been son las 10, that's the next hour. Next thing we have to do is figure out how many minutes are we gonna be taking away. So if my minute hand is pointing here, I have 5 minutes until I would get to 10 o'clock. So it would be son las 10 menos 5. Okay, let's try another one. I've got to get a bigger eraser. Let's try, this is a tricky one, okay? Let's try 12:40. So your minute hand would be pointing here. We're on the dark side of the clock. So you've got to round up to the next hour. And then how many minutes until we would get to that hour? Okay, so our next hour would be 1 o'clock, right? Because that's the next hour. So how do we say it's 1 o'clock? Do I say son las una? Nope. We say es la una. Okay, my minute hand was here. So For me to get to 1 o'clock, I would have 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So es la 1 menos 20. Okay, now what if I wanted to say it's 12:40 p.m.? Which time of day phrase would I add to that? I know I'm not going to be using de la madrugada or de la mañana because that's for a.m. I want p.m. So 12:40 p.m., that's going to be like lunchtime. That's afternoon. So I would add de la tarde. So es la 1 menos 20 de la tarde. If it was 12:40 a.m., that would change now to es la 1 menos 20 de la madrugada, in the early morning. Okay, so that's how you tack your time of day phrases. You put it at the very end of your telling time. All right, if you have any questions or anything is still not making sense, please reach out to me. I have no problem setting up like an individual Zoom session or FaceTime or whatever. But if you're still struggling, let me know and I can work one-on-one with you guys, okay? Next videos, we will jump into chapter 2, and I'm hoping to get through all of chapter 2 review in the next week. That way, if we do start any like scheduled online schooling, we will be ready to move on. So I want to be able to get you guys some new content, but I want to get through our review first, okay? All right, hope you guys are well. Stay inside, stay safe. I love you. I miss you.